Most industries are not disrupted overnight. Disruption usually announces itself early. It starts small. It looks weak. It feels irrelevant. And that is exactly why large companies miss it. Not because they lack intelligence. Not because they lack data. But because their systems are designed to ignore weak signals. The paradox of experience. Large companies are run by experienced people. They have seen cycles. They understand customers. They know how markets behave. That experience becomes their advantage. And eventually, their blind spot. Experience trains the mind to recognize patterns. But it also trains the mind to reject anomalies. Disruption begins as an anomaly. Early disruptions rarely appeal to core customers. They are cheaper, lower quality, less polished, less profitable. By established standards, they look inferior. So leaders ask rational questions. Who would choose this? How big can this really get? Why would we risk our margins? All reasonable questions, asked at exactly the wrong time. Large companies are optimized for scale. Their incentives reward revenue stability, margin protection, operational efficiency, predictable growth. Disruptive ideas offer none of these initially. They offer uncertainty, cannibalization, learning costs, small numbers. So even when disruption is noticed, it fails the internal approval process. Not because it's wrong, but because it doesn't fit the incentive structure. Big companies listen closely to customers, surveys, interviews, data, feedback loops, but customers describe the present, not the future. They evaluate improvements, not paradigm shifts. When customers say, "We don't need this," they are usually right, for now. Disruption doesn't start by serving current needs better. It starts by changing what people expect to need. Customer feedback becomes accurate, and misleading at the same time. Large organizations think in large numbers. Opportunities are evaluated by impact. How much revenue? How fast can this scale? How material is this to the business? Disruption begins small by design. It grows quietly. It compounds. It hides below materiality thresholds. By the time it looks meaningful, it is no longer controllable. Big companies have more data than anyone. Dashboards, forecasts, market analysis. But data reflects the past. Disruptions create new curves, before data exists to describe them. Early signals are qualitative, not quantitative. Executives trained to trust numbers hesitate. When numbers are unclear, so they wait. Waiting feels prudent. It is often fatal. Disruption challenges identity. It questions past decisions, existing capabilities, current leadership logic. Admitting a threat is not just strategic. It is psychological. It implies what made us successful may no longer matter. Organizations resist that conclusion, not consciously, systemically. Disruptive projects threaten existing power structures. They don't fit current org charts. They bypass legacy processes. They reduce the importance of established teams. So resistance emerges, quietly, through delays, through concerns, through endless evaluation. Innovation dies politely in meetings. Startups move fast because they have nothing to protect. Large companies move carefully because they have everything to lose. Disruption does not wait for permission. By the time large organizations respond, the rules of competition have already changed. They don't lose because they react poorly. They lose because they react late. Many large companies try to buy disruption. Sometimes it works. Often it doesn't. Because acquiring a disruptive product does not automatically import a disruptive mindset. The system absorbs the product and neutralizes what made it dangerous. Big companies miss disruption because they are optimized for success in the current game. Disruption changes the game itself. The skills, metrics, instincts, and assumptions that built dominance become liabilities. Nothing breaks suddenly. The world moves. And the organization stays excellent at yesterday. The most dangerous moment is when a new idea looks unimpressive, but keeps improving. When progress is slow but consistent. When adoption is small but sticky. When margins are weak but learning is strong. That is the moment attention is required. It is also the moment attention is least likely. They protect small bets. They allow parallel strategies. They tolerate inefficiency in learning zones. They separate exploration from exploitation. Most importantly, they don't ask disruption to justify itself too early. They let it grow quietly. Disruption is rarely invisible. It is usually ignored. Not because it hides, but because it doesn't look impressive enough to matter. By the time it does, it no longer asks for permission. It takes relevance. And the companies that once dismissed it, are left explaining, how something so obvious, was missed for so long.